Mic test. Great. Today we are back for another backtesting session. Day 51, backtesting until I'm profitable. Today we will be backtesting ICT concepts still, and I will be using this session right here. This one. Great. So let's get into it without any delay. Today is Saturday, 6 p.m. June 14th. I think I should add date to this description right there. Good. Let's start today's session. Okay, so I'll be backtesting Forex section, and I will be dealing with EU, sorry, Euro USD. Great. And for that, I think I'll remove the drawings, any drawings that might be available, and I'll go to the weekly time frame. Anyways, I'm going to do a top-down analysis, but before we go in, I want you to know the top-down analysis tells us like what some key levels should be drawn near the price, because drawing a key level here, which the price will reach like in 3 weeks, is already disturbing. I don't think it will favor you trading at all. So on the weekly, we can see that we are pretty bearish, because you can see that we had a break of structure right here, break POS, POS, which means that we have shifted to the upside. Just can see it here. I think this was some kind of sweep, but this is a break of structure if this candle closes above here. So here we would have a BOS telling us that, yeah, market has shifted, market is continuing to the upside, and hence we would look for some upper levels to target and so on. Anyways, let's go now lower the daily time frame. I think I'll keep this to be on the weekly. Sorry. Visibility weeks. Okay, good. Because it's not a POI, it's just the description. So first of all, the daily, you can see that we have really big fair value gaps, and I would like to mark another block, because if we retrace, is the possible other block that we would retrace to. But before we retrace, let's see why would we retrace. Obviously it's to rebalance price, so which means I'll come from this low right here, and then right there you can see that midpoint is right here, this low, which means this is 0.5 on daily time frame. I want to use this, change it to text. Okay, daily, what should I call it, midpoint or equilibrium, equil equilibrium point. Okay, I'll remove this, and now I'll go to the lower time frame. So I'll start with the 4-hour. You can see that we pushed, created some other blocks, pushed other blocks, pushed other blocks, and the most recent one is this one, which if we drop down, we would expect to drop into this good order block right here. It's a good 4-hour order block. Now I'll go to the 2-hour time frame. Sorry, 1-hour time frame. Yeah. So what I want to see on the 1-hour time frame, you can see that it's currently the start of a new day, start of Thursday, and we are expecting an expansion. We are already seeing an expansion to the upside, which we got as you can see, we got it on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So Thursday would also push higher. So in this case, we have a candle which looks like this. So the week started off bullish like this. By this, so this will be Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday. You can see how the highs are closing above each other, and so like Monday is somewhere here, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So we might expect Friday to come back into the range somewhere here and then close there, which will give us a candle of this look, something like this, and a week will be to the upside on the weekly. This is the candle we would like to see. Well, we would have also got a week down there, which signifies that market opened with some manipulation, because that's what the AMD, how AMD works. Like we should, sorry, we would like to see something like this, then up, then close like this. This is how it very should look like. Anyways, enough of that. So let's see what the market does, and then we will react accordingly. Keeping in mind that we can also mark the midpoint of this move right here. So which means I can start with this low. So from this low, this high, you can see the midpoint is on this fair value gap. So if we drop, we can expect a small bounce of the gap maybe, then continuation to the downside, or a small somewhere in these zones right here. Anyways, let's remove this, then I'll go to the 30 minute time frame. Then I'll wait for what my setup, for what the setup will show me. If it shows bullish, then we go bullish. If it shows bearish, then we go bearish. Okay, good. So I'm on the 15-minute time frame, and so far this is how Asian session is looking. And you can see that Asian session is still running. Go to 5 minute. Asian session. Asian session is over, and you can see a good drawn liquidity right here. Equal highs coinciding with this daily high, and we also took out the Asia lows, and I think we are about to reverse. So how does it look on the 15-minute time frame? On the 15-minute time frame, you can see that we have a good fair value gap in here, and coinciding with this good order block, which means it might be a good sign to push higher. And why do I want to push higher? Since I want to, rebalance price, even though we're bullish, I would if we be bearish, then London will be manipulating, which means create a false move to the upside, and then New York will come in right there, and then go down, go down. So let's see how this movement plays out. So what I would like to see here is basically see price push higher and take out these equal highs after reaction on this order block, and taking out this Asian lows right there. So if an ideal entry to this trade will be this inversion fair value gap. You can see that we have a good inversion right here. So the moment this candle closes and this one closes, you can enter on this one, which shows that this inversion has been disrespected. So the ideal trade would look something like this, and then your small target will be right here, which means you have like a one-to-one, which would be filled in a matter of seconds, I think. And you can see you get also a retracement. I think we'll start to use the 1 minute so that we can spot these moves in hindsight. Okay, so it drops again before pushing. Trust me, it will push higher even though it's looking a bit messy. That's how my bias. That's what my bias is telling me so far. And you can see that we take out the liquidity on the upside, which is a really nice move. This will be a 5 minute inversion gap. Anyways, let's see how this goes, how New York moves on. So we're expecting New York to push to the upside, and so far you can see it's doing it, push to the upside, and now it started to drop. uh, Dropped into the inversion, kind of respecting it, and see how these wicks are closing. It's suspecting a thing here. Whoa, these are some crazy moves though. Didn't expect this move in London. Anyways, you can see how market pushed higher, then dropped nicely into this inversion, and you can see on the first candle of the inversion, no candle trespassed right there, and continue to push higher. So this looks clean. This looks really clean, which means we would have a clean price delivery of some pips entering right after these rejections somewhere here. the stop loss being a few pips below this first candle of the inversion fair value gap, and then targeting obviously this high will give you a 3.72 risk to reward. And you can see that we get another minor retracement into our fair value gap, coinciding with the inversion fair value gap. I think this will be an ideal entry, but I don't want to enter in this London. I'll possibly wait for New York session. So by the looks of it, um, London is really playing out well so far. So what are we seeing here? Retracement to another block and a fair value gap. Okay, and London hasn't closed yet. Waiting for London to close. All right. What do we see here? So when I got the 15-minute time frame, you can see how good this price delivery was. This push to the upside after Asia session in London session. And when I go to the 30-minute, you can see how these candles were progressively bullish, which means there's also an opportunity that market might not even come back to the downside. It will depend on how New York will behave. So if New York is bearish, what I would like to see is close below this low. First off, close below this low, and as you can see that we have also another low right here, which we closed below it, and we're retracing to a gap. But the reason I'm not considering it, I just want to see okay, this low looks way stronger than this one. Okay, New York is on, and boom, 8:13 use clock in. And what is this? Consider we took out all these highs, including this one. We had this good shift right here, good shift in structure. And what I would like to target would be like this low or the previous day low. But I think this low would be okay because this low was the liquidity point that took out the Asia lows, and this one and this liquidity that is building up here. So that will be the move that I would like to anticipate. So my trade will be something like this. Entry there on the fair value gap, which the fair value gap is this one, FG. Then my stop loss will be this week, the high. Then I'll target this low, giving a 2R. I think I would reduce like stop loss to somewhere there. Let's play it and see how it goes. Risking 1% on this one. No, risk 0.5. You can see that I have a really low balance. So let me risk less. Okay, now let's play this and see. Looks like the gap is about to be disrespected and we get stopped out. So here let's trade the continuation instead. Let's trade the continuation, guys. Let's trade the continuation. I know it's gonna dropped by a few pips, then pushed higher. Let's go to the next day. You can see that overnight we pushed higher, 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 higher. And in Asia now, instead we already took out the previous day high. So looking on the bigger time frame, you can let me start with the daily a bit. You can see how this day opened, pushed higher, and dropped, and now it's back in the range. This candle was a really big day. This whole upwards move. Now look at the 1 hour. Still, we are in a small corrective move to the downside, if not a shift. So it will depend on how the market, what the market will show us before we enter for the day. Okay, first off, you can see Asia lows taken off. So London didn't bring any. Okay, good. See a low created right here. We didn't close below it. Then we shifted structure in here, right here. So retracement to a gap, or this inversion right here would be ideal for entry. So do we retrace? I'm afraid not. But you can see how good it's looking. And we also take out Asia highs. Great, right here. Okay, so do you see here? See a shift to the downside. Retracement to a breaker right here. And how does the 15 minute look like? 15 minutes is showing it as some kind of inversion in here, but I think this breaker would be a good entry. Going back to the 5 minute, then the entry would be a sell. Targeting London lows, you know, having a good stop loss right there above this high. That will be the entry. So should we take it? Well, considering that today at 10 there's news, the price might want to consolidate, which means if you take this trade, we'll have some consolidation within the range. Boy, London lows, warrant taken out. Look at this. Push higher than the drop, as in we respect the breaker. Drop, 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 drop. Then we don't hit there, but this low gets taken out quickly, quickly. But what I want to see now is on the 30-minute time frame. Sorry, 150, 30-minute time frame. Well, this might have been another block, then retrace, healthy retracement into the block, then a push higher. Okay, really, really crazy now. Nice. Okay, so London's still open, which means we can, still find some entries. Okay, good. Okay, market breaks at the news events, market crashes. You can see this huge void there. Okay, PM session is looking quite nice, but really don't trust it. Oh yeah, let's go to the next day. Asia high is taken out. Previous day high, previous day low. Good liquidity points. How does the 30-minute look like? So, we didn't break. This is the recent high, all-time high, according to the all-time high. I don't think so, but it's a good high, strong high. Because we're in 2023, this high hasn't been reached since 2023 started, but in 2022 we were once there. So it's a yearly all-time high. And when I go to the daily time frame, what would I like to see? So you can see that we have a crazy up down close candle, but I think we're about to push higher, which is obviously like open, drop, push higher. Let's see if that gets obeyed. 1 hour. 1 hour is looking not bad. Not bad. This is a new day. So Sunday opens, drops into this gap, which means how does the weekly look like now? So weekly is also the same. Opens, drops, which means we can expect the PO3 open, drop, and this kind of thing. Okay, this will be what we would expect. Anyways, let's go to the lower time frames now. 1 hour. We have a great order block here, which we failed to break past. I go to the 30 minute. I'd like to mark these liquidity points. Previous day high, it's already marked, so no need. And now, I'll zoom in and see if we can have some trades in here. So back on the 5 minute now. Our Asian high taken out. Okay, so drop a bit, and we can see that London's about to start. Now we shift structure. Keep in mind we have a really great strong draw on liquidity on the upside. Actually, it's just a few pips before we reach there, which means already here there's a good entry provided, but it generated liquidity also, some equal lows right there. Okay, here we retrace into the gap inside here and then start to push towards the previous day high. So I think here, silver bullet, my brother, silver bullet. You can see we have a silver bullet here. I think it provide like a one-to-one though, because it's already here. Have this here, and except if we enter like this, we'll be really also like a one-to-one. You can see it's some kind of one-to-one. Except if we do something like this, then target the 1 to 2 for a silver bullet. Okay, good. Previous day I gets taken out. I'm afraid it won't offer all those pips according to how it's looking. Respecting the POIs. And stop loss gets hit after that. Wow. Okay. Not bad, not bad. What we can see so far is that took out the previous day high and the 15-minute time frame. And see after taking out, it consolidated somehow, then dropped this low, closed below it, which means we might target these lows for New York or under the previous day low. You can just enter right there, even though that's not logical, but let's just look for a reason to enter a POI, or like have an entry criteria retracement to a POI, then can phase our entry there. 15 look like? So 15 is in this gap right here, from this candle here, and you can see that we are rejecting thoroughly depending on how these candles are closing, which means my entry will be there. Stop loss will be on the first candle of the gap, few pips above it, and I would actually target there 4.97. Well, I'm not a good fan of these high R trades, but let's see if this trade would work out. Mm, 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 mm. We were targeting previous day high, which means we'll take partials on. Okay, screenshot. We will take partials on the Asia lows taken out. Wow, wow. Okay, first partials will be right here. I mean, get stopped out. Oh, whew. Nice one, nice one. Really, really nice one. Wait a minute. When did I lose 10k? On what trade? Why are my analytics in negative? That was up like 9k or something there. Oh yeah, I think this session is wrong, man. Something is off for real. Or maybe I'm confusing it with another one. So, but it's a nice one. It's a nice trade on GBP. Wait, Euro USD. And see how good we respected this fair value gap, which means all we have to see is the accumulation, manipulation, and then the distribution, which means this daily candle is really, really bearish. Does it continue to drop? Well, I don't know, but what I can confirm is that it took out the previous day low, which means it was a key level of liquidity taken out. Good trade. It's a 5 hour trade. And funny thing is, I really don't know where all this money went. It's really killing my portfolio. Really would like to see how it went. I Now I'm deleting this. Deleting this. It's it's making my portfolio look dirty. Yeah, sorry. Deleted sessions. I really don't need them. Okay, back to FX replay. It's this session. Bye. Yeah, sorry. And I think we have EU here. Okay. All I need is backtesting EU. So the accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. You can see it also happened this day, even though the distribution wasn't as clean as how it was on that other session. Anyways, let me go to the next day open. Oi, who that was for? Anyways, we have the previous day low right here. You can see some relatively equal lows, which means there's a clear pool of liquidity resting below these lows. And let's see what happens as we wait. So first off, I would like to put a daily time frame. Sorry, weekly. Wait a minute. So this whole thing in I should have detected that this session should have called this one called Judah Swing ICT was in the same time as the one we were in. You can see that the daily equilibrium point we marked on the other session has been achieved. Wow, I really like this. I really like this. But when I go now to I want to see if the trade I took on the other. Wait a minute. When did this happen? To see if the trade I took on the other thingy is still here. On the what should I call it? The other session. Sorry, I forgot that. Oh, great. So let's see. Imagine now having a trade like this one. It would change your life. What's it? gross domestic product annualized, something like that. Okay, 8, 8, 15. So you can see that, yeah, it swept liquidity, dropped right here, traced into this gap, but there was no clear low that showed the market shift, which means that on that entry you'd have to, hold your fingers. And a good thing about this is that you can see before the drop, we dropped into the 4 hour order block, respected it a bit, and then continued to drop, which means that our analysis at that time is really, really correct. And I would like to do another one as we wrap up this session. So I'll go to the weekly time frame first off. So how does the weekly time frame look like? You can see that we are really dropping. Could be a west, but I would expect continuation to the downside and maybe reaction like on some kind of OB here, then a push to the upside. But for now, I would assume that we are really, really bearish. So and I would also like to mark this. The reason I'm marking it is because, well, when we drop, we might need to stop right there. I think this is the last down close candle, so which would be like the midpoint of this whole move. So I think I would like to mark it like this, maybe, yeah, weekly or weekly order block right there. Okay, weekly weekly OB. And by the way, one thing I just realized when I used to talk on the microphone is that, well, you hear more of the outside than you hear of the inside. That's why using headsets has really helped me. I think that should also apply to normal life. When you hear about you care about the cloud outside, you can't really focus, or have you focus on what you're doing clearly. So it will sometimes make me not have a comfortable recording session. So on the daily session, you can see that we're dropping. We have some relatively equal lows here. Good draw on liquidity, and you can see that we have a good order block that we pushed right into right there, which means we can expect this candle to expand to the upside, tap into this OP, and then continue to drop lower, take out these equal lows, drop into the weekly order block, and if we're bullish, we react on it. Anyways, so the 4 hour, I wouldn't like to draw any POIs on the daily time frame, maybe liquidity zones, but not POIs, because then that will be reached in years and years. So you have these relatively equal lows here. It's should I call it like a liquidity, a previous daily or previous okay, I'll rename it previous equal lows on the top, right? Okay, good. Now when I go I do like this, that's why it looked a bit close. Okay, when I go now on the 4 hour time frame, you can see that we're continuing to drop, and it's currently 1 on Thursday. So what I would want to see on the day, and you can see how the day started, pushed high, dropped, sorry, I think it opened, dropped, pushed high, and started to drop again. So it's more likely that if we are to react on this fair value gap, then the candle will continue to the upside. But if not, then we will continue to the downside. So we'll see how market changes for our time frame. What I could see is a good order block. This one for H or B, and um, when I go to 2 hour, I would see that we failed to break below this low, which means this is a good liquidity point before we even reach this one right here. And when I go to 1 hour, I would see that didn't it's the same thing as the 2 hour. I could say so. Good. So if we push higher, I would expect reaction on this POI and trade towards this POI. If you drop, my target is this level right here. This is the order block from, I think I should make it like this. This is the weekly order block here. The weekly, you can see that it's the order block from weekly. Yeah. And let's go back now and go to 15. Okay, good. 15, that is looking quite clean. we had this drop in Asian session. We have some relatively equal lows as well in the previous daily low and this low from yesterday. Sorry, this low from this day, which is the previous daily low, and this low, which was after Asia. And I will drop further into the 5 minute time frame, which is all I'm looking for. I don't want to go further than the 5 minute. Okay, now we get a shift in structure. See, pushed high, failed to break above this highs. Reaction on this block right there. Good shift in structure right there. And this is the nearest target. But since I'm not scalping, then I won't be targeting that. But you can see that we end up tapping into it. Going to 15 minutes, you can see that we're about to reach there. Yeah, we'll take out the previous day low as London opens. And London is opening quite crazily. Like it's choppy. So now we're having something clear. You can see that we now start to push higher. We have a good BOS. Yeah, sorry, shift instruction instead. And we get a retracement into this fair value gap as London is still running and it's a 535. We have Asia high liquidity resting there. And I think we would like to target it, but after London manipulation is done. Okay, since now we drop into this gap right here. 15 minute is looking like this. Drop into this fair value gap after taking out the previous day low. Pushed high, shifted, created a fair value gap, dropped into it, and this would prompt us to really enter and target the Asia highs. So I think I'll place a buy, and I would be entering on this fair value gap inside of there. Good FG, and we use one stop loss somewhere there. Target Asia highs. Yeah, something like this. Good 1 to 4 hour. So the sweep is here, the shift is in here, retracement. Let me mark the shift as well. This is, I have this sweep right here. Now let's see how this one plays out. I think I'll use the 1 minute full speed. Wait, we didn't take the trade on. Oh, sorry, but you can see that it ends up hitting take profit on this whole move in New York. This was a really good trade. And when I go lower, you can see that we didn't have any kind of drawdown, not any kind of drawdown that I could see of. But this was a really great trade on the day. Right, so I think I'll end the backtesting session here today. Why didn't I take this trade? I thought I had took it, but I think I'll end the session here today. Thanks for tuning in, and until we meet again, stay blessed, stay hardworking, and live for heaven. Trust in God, and put all your plan, put all your plans in God, and then He will make them work out. So